So it's Monday morning, it's just gone 8:30 and it's already a hectic morning. Got all the jobs, rang the customer to come and collect his impeller. We've got all the fireplaces to go out, which are everywhere, and obviously already started oxidising. The front's looking brilliant on that one. Obviously the oxidisation is happening pretty quick. That customer's meant to be coming this morning to come and pick all them up, but also dropping more off. Obviously Steve's still away, so I'm in the blaster. Just had the customer ring for the wagon parts, any ready because the lads are looking for some work. But I've got to get these done first. They look so simple, but they're not. So put in the comments how long you think it's going to take for me to blast one of these, and we'll time it. We'll see how long it takes. It's going to take... don't know how long it's going to take. It's going to be one of them that's going to take forever, innit? It looks so straightforward and so simple, but them little twirly things. We'll put it in the nearest 5 minutes. So put in the comments how long you reckon it's going to take in 5 minutes. Other than that, we've got all of them to do. I've got another lad dropping gates off as well today. He was going to drop them off the weekend, but didn't end up getting round up here to me at the weekend to do it, so he didn't. So he's meant to be coming today. Obviously we'll probably have more pipes as well come in today, so one thing after another, but love it. That's what we want. David is making yogels. So you have to make 2 of them to make 1. It has a core that it sits, which is the homemade core box the customer's done, and what will happen is the 2 parts, so there'll be, you make 2 castings and then they sit together and make 1, and then it has a bronze bush for opening and shutting lock gates. So we'll see what they look like. Start at 4:29. So the overall time of this single gate was 50 minutes of work that was involved in shot blasting this gate, even though it looks quite simple. It does take a lot of time. So both gates, 50 minutes each. There's a lot of work. It looks quite simple and it looked quite hard, but obviously the paint not being a powder coated, more of a wet paint, it'd come off a lot easier than what a powder coated gate would. If it was powder coated, it would take a lot longer because it's more stubborn to blast off. You can see the amount of work that goes involved, me moving around, doing this, doing that, but cleaning it as you go along, and obviously see the amount of dust that it creates as well. Obviously I've cut a lot out of this video, but the amount of dust, you can't even see nothing because of all the old paint, all the old rust, etc. It just creates a big massive vacuum. Obviously once I do stop to brush the shot back in the hole, it sucks all the dust back out, and that's when we can see it again, and that's when I start a little bit. 50 minutes is not too long, not too bad, but obviously the price goes off the time on this set, so it's just one of them. There's not much you can do about it, but people say that things are dead easy and dead quick, but it is the proof that it isn't. Obviously using steel shot is quite effective, so, but we got the job done, the customer was happy, I've not even got a photo to show you what the finished look like, but it is what it is. But it's all clean now, all powder coated, and it's all back on the customer's house, where the fitter has even got another job because their customers are absolutely made up with the finish of the product. So, onwards and upwards. It is Wednesday. Yesterday, up the wall again, just in that shot blaster, doing all the shot blasting work. But luckily enough, made up, Steve's back in. So what that means is Steve is now in the blaster, doing the blasting work, which is fantastic for me because I've got loads of invoices to do. I've got a big stack, and what these are our delivery notes. We still use pen and paper for the delivery notes, but I do all the invoices by computer. Obviously, I'll do them all on the iPad. But obviously, so Paul writes them out because I've got to give him a little bit because he hates the computer where I like the computer, and that's where it needs to be. Everything's saves all the files. Yes, I've got a couple of files, but it's only a bit, you know what I mean? So, me today, obviously, I've got to get all these invoices over the past week, and that I've just piled up. With it coming towards the end of the month, we've obviously got to get these invoices out. Got to get money in, got to keep the cash flow going. I've got no cash flow, it's pointless in it. But Steve's got absolutely... So yesterday, basically, a load of gates come in for blasting from the powder coaters that are getting fitted Thursday. So they've got to get back picked up today and painted. I've done... So there's 3 sets. There's one set's 2 gates, another set's 2 gates, and one set's 3 gates. I was doing the 2 sets. But they were heavily in powder coats, just absolutely meaning taking forever to get off. But we're getting done. We're getting blooded on. So there's 4 more gates to do. The set with the 3 in aren't too bad, so we actually stopped to do that. We stopped the wagon parts. That's what they asked us to do. So, but we've got another fireplace to do. We've got more railings and more gates to do. So there's enough for the end of the week in terms of shot blasting. Moulding wise, we are making, I don't know what they're called, little blocks, little like tripod sort of block things. They're in ductile iron, so we've had a new pattern made which Paul went and picked up Monday. Two loose patterns, obviously put 2 in a box. There's a quantity of 30, so we've got to do it. Probably wondering what the piece of wood is. So just above me there's 3 cast iron, 3 brackets, one's aluminium, 2 cast iron that we've made in the past. The piece of wood is going to sit across the top. You'll see that when I finally get a chance. I'm half, so I'm going to do half a job. So, but that's what it is. I've got all this invoicing, which is not the greatest part of the job, but obviously it's part of the job that needs to be done. So we've got to get money in. And then we've got to see what happens, haven't we? Onwards and upwards. And let's keep going, let's keep ticking over and see what comes in. Thursday, so yesterday we had all the railings off the powder coating firm that come in for, well, we didn't have them come in, they had to go out, they had to be done for yesterday. So we completed all of them. So they come down, collected the 3 sets of gates and the box of wagon parts. So left us with 1 more box. So Steve has been busy, he's done most of them. He's got a couple more of this style bracket. Yeah, we got a couple more of these ones to go. They do actually have codes on, that's how I know what they are. But obviously once you blast it blasts the codes off. So obviously at the moment there's 4 different types in that box. There's them brackets, there's them brackets, there's them brackets. Them little ones, the flat plated ones, they are off man. So the man wagons. We also have completed the other fireplace that come in, which is looking fantastic. All the detail and all that's still there. All comes out. We even had one of our reps that come in yesterday, supplies the metal. We're speaking and we're going, how, like, I don't know if there's anyone that still makes fireplaces, like casting wise, especially your cast iron ones. Don't know if there's still foundries doing it. Probably if there is, there's probably someone overseas just doing them for next to nothing like usual and shipping them over. But like the old traditional ones, we're talking about them and going, how did they get these so good back in the day with what they had? And it's because obviously they're dead thin, they're very easily to go wrong, they can twist, they can bend, they can crack. Obviously the sand was different back then to what we've got now. And it was always good just having that conversation. Obviously with these you probably put phosphorus in so it flows better. Obviously with them being very thin, you'd have a thin little runner, you'd also have a thin riser, and you just snap them off by hand, you just hit it with the hammer. But it's not even that, it's the closing the box. As much as it is just making a box full of sand, it's not. It's like the way to close it, you've got to make sure it lines up perfectly, etc. But they fascinate me. Because obviously the detail that they've got on them, and obviously someone's carved that by hand in wood first. That's why the one last week, when we videoed, was amazing. All the little bits of little detail and that. You can't go wrong. You're not getting that with a fabrication, are you? Sorry, but you know. But we also had a cannon that's come in. Obviously you can see a bit of sand there, but this cannon was completely different the way we've had to do this. Normally we'd joint, obviously we'd bed it in the mould, and we'd joint straight down the edge down there, because obviously we've got to get the logo, etc. However, with this cannon, we've only got to cast half. And what I mean by half is the customer only wants half a cannon. It's got to be open and he only wants one side. It's going to be fabricated. It's going to go on the wall. So one, it's in ductile iron so he can weld it easier. He's got to also make half a carriage and it's getting hung up on a wall. We did say you're probably better doing an aluminium to reduce a lot of the weight. In the longer term, it'll be better. But he wanted it in SG, so obviously the price is obviously a lot more different between aluminium and SG. But that's up to him, isn't it, and his customer. So David made that, so we had to make it an opposite direction because he wanted, how would you say, the lug side to be still apart. So the logo was not in there. So the way we've done it, we bedded it in the mould. Once we bedded it in the mould, I come up with the idea, these were going to do a bit different. So take it out the mould. Then once we've done that, we've got the outside of the mould, so like the outside of the casting. So then we needed to do something for the inside, and at first we were planning on doing a core, and like half a core, but it was like, well then you've got to do your top box, half a core, it's got to sit right, otherwise it's going to cause a couple of problems. So what we did, take the job out, and then we're left with the mould. Then we lined the mould, and then we just ran the top box up. So it's quite simple. But David done it with 2 pieces of wood, and he realised that it's too much of a gap. Obviously we want it thick, but at the same time we don't want it thick. So we've put a bit more sand, glued a bit more sand to it, and then shaped it up. And he's moulded it, he's done it, and he's closed it. So I can't even show you what the mould looks like as of yet. So you'll have to stay tuned till we cast that mould and see what it looks like. I personally don't know what it looks like because I was busy. I was actually dressing some of the foot treads off the train parts, but dressing them I also noticed that some of them I aren't happy with, so I've got to make some more. It's not what I want. Ideally I wanted to get them done so I could take them up this week or take them up tomorrow, deliver them, but I'm not happy with them, so I'm going to have to try and mould some. Obviously because it's getting up towards the end of the month now, obviously these are 2 weeks behind, getting up towards the end of the month, and obviously you want to get jobs out for the end of the month. Some people, payments, these are all right though, so I don't really mind. Some customers are taking absolute George, you know what I mean? So it's just one of them. It is. I'm not going to send something out that I'm not happy with. I know I've got at least 2 to make. One where the corners sort of not, but there's basically being a bit of sand left in the mould, not blown out properly. So the corner's a bit crushed, like it's not sharp anymore, it's smooth, and I don't like it, and it's not what I want. Yeah, technically they might be too long or might be too short, or they might have put 2 together and they've got to cut a bit off, but I ain't happy with it, so I'm not sending it. Also, one's got a mark on the front face, and I can't touch the front face with the grinder or anything, because as soon as you touch that, it marks it up, and it shows, and it's just not, it's hard to explain, because obviously once you mark that metal, even if you paint it, it's still going to be slightly different to what the rest of it is, and with it being a front face on a face of a carriage, it's not what we want, and it's not what I want. So I'll make a couple more. Obviously but they're in cast iron, but we've also got the gear wheel that we made obviously for the crane. We've not cast that yet. But that's in cast iron, so if I'm planning in my head now, if we can get the rest of these done, which are SG, because we've obviously got them big block things, which are SG, which are these. Let me show you. We're a loose pattern, if you remember, but David screwed them to a board just so it's easier for us to get them out of the mould. Because obviously putting wood screws in, you butcher the back, especially with the way the wood is nowadays. It's not as good as the older wood. It's whatever wood is used, isn't it? So it's just one of them. So obviously if we can sort of get a cast on for the cannon and these SG jobs, make some more of these threads, we can do the SG and then throw a bit of cast iron in, cast them and cast the gear wheels. Hopefully today. It's up to David, because that's what David likes to do. But shot blasting wise again, we've obviously got to finish them wagon parts, which I said just before. But we've also got the set of railings and gates that come in off one of the other customers, which are all here. We need to try and start on them today. They are galvanised as well underneath, but obviously when shot blasting, the galvanising comes off in places. You can see, look, these have been powder coated in the past, and this is what happens with the powder coat on the galvanising. It chips and flakes, and it marks. Obviously your gate's not going to go rusty because it's galvanised, but it just looks crap. So we've got to get on with, so you've got to blast it, but sometimes the galvo comes off in places, sometimes it's really stuck in places. And with the metal being the same colour as the galvo when it's shot blasted, it's hard to tell where it is. Even with the lights and all that on, it's just one of them though. You've just got to do what you got to do. I also got another set of, 3 railings off another customer, which are these. And he come and I told him they'll be next week, and he was like, oh no. But unfortunately that's what it is. I don't know if it mentions about the wheels, but we've got wheels by the front door. He's coming Friday afternoon for them. And we've also got this Boardman bike for shot blasting. It's straightforward bikes, no offence. The paint's just sprayed, so it comes off straight away and that's easy. So that won't take long, so we can throw that in, because I asked him when does he want it, and he said he doesn't know. And it's like one of them, do you know what I mean? I hate that. Just give me a date and I can get it for that date. So he said Friday, so that we can just throw in between 2 jobs, you know what I mean? We can just throw it in there, do it, because it won't take long. I think it'll only take about 10 minutes. 10-15 minutes, something like that, which is not too bad, and obviously not going to take a lot of time, not compared to the railings that are going to take a couple of hours, well, more than a couple, but it's going to take a long time. People think it's dead easy, but it's not always. But that's what it is, and that's what we've got to do. All them stools are still here. I hate it. Just come pick them up. You know who you are. And obviously all them spindles, I don't even know who you are, but I know who you are, and I've got no number to ring you. So can you come and pick them up? I won't pay for them. Cheers. But that's mainly it. All the office work, nearly got all done. Obviously all the invoices went all straight out. Obviously there's more to do, but it is what it is, and it's what we're going to do. So let's crack on and see how the day takes us. But we are on our way. Well, it's not morning now, it's nearly 11 o'clock. So the jobs that we done yesterday, that we cast, we knocked out because I needed to dress them, and then I dressed the rest of the train parts that we done, and we are going to deliver them now. It's about 115 miles to get there. We've got 40 miles left. I've just stopped off now so I can take the dog out for a walk because the dog's with me, and give him his dinner. But we also dressed the yokels, I think you were called, because on the way back we are going to deliver them to the customer. So, and the customer has said if he's not there in the workshop, drop them off at the pub. So we are on our way. We've obviously got 40 miles left to go, which is about an hour to 2.5 hours to get there, which is not too bad. And then we'll see what happens with the rest of the day. But so far so good. I normally leave a lot earlier than what I have because I left at 9:30. It's now 11:10. I've just got to Rufford services. Very expensive though. So it's very busy. The car park's rammed, everywhere's rammed, so it's not obviously what I want, but we'll get the job done. So I'm just going to take him for a little walk now, and then from there we will go and drop these castings off and then see what happens. Come on. We got back at about 5 o'clock. We didn't end up delivering the yokel to the pub. They were still open, so I didn't get to go in the pub. But obviously I had the dog there, so you seen the little dog. It's the first time he'd met a cow. Slapping my head off. But yeah, successful little trip. Very tiring though, like driving's hard work. And for me, I like cut down the country roads. Which was a bit of a mistake because you get stuck behind the motorhomes. Obviously, summertime sort of thing, people are going away. You just can't get past them, especially on them little narrow lanes. But it is what it is. But that's the end of this week. A decent little week. Lots of variety, different things going on. So next week, stay tuned and we'll see how we got on with the Canon when we knock it out. And we fettle it. So that's the end of MC Weekly episode number 24. So don't forget, give us a like, a comment, and a subscribe. Can't speak anymore. Give us a like, a comment, and a subscribe. It's much appreciated, keeping these wheels of industry turning over, showing you the insides of our manufacturing plant here in Kirby. I love this game. No better game out like it. Manufacturing. And just manufacturing a whole. That's why I like doing this. I just love how things are made. So, yeah. So much appreciated. Let's keep going. Onwards and upwards next week. It's coming. Let's go.